You ready, Angie?
Yes.
Welcome everyone to the Cache County Planning Commission meeting for Thursday, April 7th. We begin our meetings with opening remarks, and tonight it's Jason's turn. Mr. Watterson.
I will make my opening remarks in the form of a prayer. Our Heavenly Father, we are grateful for this beautiful spring day and in this beautiful Cache Valley. We're grateful for the opportunity to come together as a group to discuss the future and the planning for this community. And we ask that we might have clear minds and be able to do the things that are best for the people of this community. We ask a blessing on the leaders of this world, that they may have their minds clear, that they may make decisions that will help us to come together in peace. And these blessings we ask you for in the name of thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen. I ask that you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Watterson. And next item is to review and approve the agenda. Any changes to our agenda, Angie?
Sorry, I was going to close the door.
They already got their balloons and sign on there.
Yeah, no changes.
Okay, any comments from commissioners? Without objection, we'll adopt the agenda for tonight. Next item is review and approval of the minutes from the March 3rd meeting. Commissioners, do you have a chance to take a look at those? Any questions or suggestions, changes?
I looked at them, I didn't have anything.
Look fine.
Okay. Okay, without objection, we'll approve the minutes from March 3rd. So we have 6 items on the agenda tonight. The first 4 items are consent items. Consent items are items that come to the commission that meet all of the required ordinances and laws and rules and regulations of the county. And so generally we'll just approve those and move along unless there's somebody here that has a question or comment about any of the first 4 items, which are the Bailey Acres Subdivision First Amendment. The second item is the Denali South Horse Ranch Subdivision. The third is an Old Canyon Subdivision. And the fourth is the Zollinger South Subdivision. So all 4 of these consent items meet the requirements, and we'll approve them all at once unless somebody has a question. You'll have to come up and speak into the mic. You'll have to state your name, please.
I'm Tom Bailey.
Okay.
I just have a question on Bailey Acres subdivision. What that consists of, what you're planning on passing or talking about or whatever.
We're just approving them unless there's questions.
Okay, there is a question. What are you approving?
The removal of Lot 3 from that existing subdivision.
Okay. Is there any other lots or any other building lots that go with that subdivision, or just removing that one lot from the subdivision?
I believe that's it.
Removing that one, and it's tied to item number 2 as a new subdivision, that lot that's being removed.
Okay, just so no other lots go with it.
It's not increasing the number of lots that were originally approved there.
So the other 4 lots stay with the remaining subdivision.
The 3 existing and then the potential for 1 more on 12, yes.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Any other questions, comments on the other 4 items? Okay, commissioners, what would you like to do?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the 4 consent agenda items. Do I need to list those out on my?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I've already listed them for you. But that would be based on the findings of fact.
Based on the findings of fact within those.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, any other questions, comments? All those in favor of approving the 4 consent items as proposed? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, those pass unanimously. Our 5th, thank you very much. If those were your items, feel free to enjoy the rest of your evening. The 5th item is a regular action item. It's a public hearing on the Christie Farm rezone. Angie, you'd like to give us a presentation on that tonight?
Yes, so this is a request to rezone 7.4 acres from the agricultural A10 zone to the rural 2 RU2 zone. It would allow the parcel to be legally divided into a maximum of 3 separate lots as part of the subdivision instead of only the existing lot under the current zoning. As you can see from the map that's part of that, and I can bring it up for the audience to see. The properties immediately adjacent to the parcel have agricultural and residential uses. They're also fairly adjacent to Mendon City. Mendon City boundary is just north of the property on the other side. Sorry if I'm giving anybody some motion sickness here. Here we go. The blue parcels are the ones that are immediately adjacent. There are 4 parcels with a home in unincorporated county and 1 parcel with a home within Mendon City. When we expand that buffer to a quarter mile, there are 17 parcels with a home in unincorporated county and 4 parcels with a home in Mendon City. And then a half-mile buffer, when we expand from that point, there's 47 parcels with a home in unincorporated county with an average lot size of 2.8 acres and 32 parcels with a home with an average lot size of 0.8 acres in Mendon City. The property is located within Mendon City's annexation area. I have not received any comment from them. They were part of the noticing. This will kind of show you that image. And then there are quite a few RU2 zones adjacent, well, not quite a few, I should say 2. 2 rezones that are adjacent. As you can see on this map, these 3 lots were approved as the Mountain View Meadow rezone in November 2018. It was a 6.29 acre parcel located on 2000 South. It was on a maintained county road that required minimal improvements when the 3-lot subdivision was approved in February 2019. This larger parcel adjacent to that, across the street from the subject property, was approved as the Christie rezone in June 2021. A subdivision application has not been submitted. The applicant on the Christie rezone, sold that property and bought the parcel across the street and now is applying for the rezone on this property. Primary access to this the subject property is from 2000 South. It's a county road that provides access to multiple dwellings, ag uses, vacant lots, and provides through access from the highway to 5400 West. It's classified as a major local road, consists of an average of 22 feet with a paved surface, and is maintained year-round by the county. So with that, and having received no comments from the public on the rezone, staff is recommending approval to the county council. And with that concludes my report.
Commissioners, any questions for staff?
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I do not.
Did we have, I may have missed it, did we have what the Mendon City zoning is on those parcels just across the way, what the density is?
I do not know the density. Let's see. Looks like R1 for these
So it's
subdivision
one
on the
acre
corner.
Per lots?
Yeah, I can check their code really quick to see what the R1 is.
It looks like what they are.
Just give me just 1 second here. I can answer any other questions you might have, or if you wanted to open the public hearing while I...
Lane, did you have a question?
No, I didn't. I did not, so.
Any other questions?
For public hearing, if
and let you know.
Okay. Yeah, commissioners, would you like to open the public hearing?
You need a motion for that? Sorry, I'll make a motion to open the public
Sure.
hearing.
Sounds good.
Second? Go ahead. Lane got it.
Yeah, there we go.
We have a motion and second to open the public hearing. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we've opened the public hearing. Are there, is the proponent here for the project? Would you like to come up and?
My name
Your name and then anything you would have questions on or comments you'd like to make?
My name's Aaron Christie. I own the piece of property that is proposed here. My intentions are to build a home for my family on 5.5 acres and then subdivide off one additional lot to sell, hopefully to one of the neighbors. So it's a piece of property I plan on staying on. I live 2 doors down from right inside Minden City, the last little house there. So I used to live across the street, so we're kind of slowly moving in a circle, but but I intend on farming and living on that piece of property, so we're just wanting to split that in half, just because it's kind of an odd shape. 3 lots is going to be a little bit difficult to squeeze in there and have it make sense. So basically, it's going to be kind of split down the middle, which will leave about a 2 acre and then a 5.5 acre piece.
Okay.
Those are our intentions. You guys have any questions for me?
Questions, commissioners?
No.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Would anyone else like to give any comments on this proposal tonight? Okay, seeing none, commissioners?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we close the public hearing.
We have a motion to close the public hearing? And a second? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, now what would you like to do, commissioners?
Just to answer the question previously posed, the R1 zone, it looks like the area minimum for that district is 5/8 of an acre
Okay.
with 110-foot frontage.
Okay.
Thank you, Angie. Any other questions or comments, commissioners?
Well, it looks pretty straightforward, and it's within, but Minden didn't respond, you said, to any, whether they're gonna, it's within their annexation zone, but they haven't responded, but it looks like it.
We've kind of hashed this area out multiple
Yeah, we
times
have.
in recent months, and so
Yep.
this one seems fairly straightforward in my
I agree.
take.
I think it meets all the criteria we've discussed or laid out previously for these kinds of rezones. Feel free to make a motion then. So-
I'll make a motion that we approve or recommend for approval the Christie Farm rezone with the conditions or conclusions here, just one
Yep.
condition.
Okay, we have a motion.
I'll second that.
Nathan seconds that motion. Any other questions, comments? All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, the motion carries. Moving on to our last item, I believe, is the Mount Naomi Farms U-Pick conditional use permit.
Yes, so this is a request to operate an agritourism facility, specifically a U-Pick on the property. There is an existing CUP for the Mount Naomi Vineyard that is in this structure right here. When that approval was done, there were a lot of road improvements, including a private road and parking areas that were required. So all that infrastructure is in place now, and this request would not provide, or would not have significant impacts that would require additional conditions or improvements to the road. But just quickly, according to their letter of intent, there's an existing 12 by 12 foot storefront on the subject property that will be used for storing, weighing, and purchasing of fruit. An inspector from the building department did visit the site and determined that based on limited usage, lack of power, and square footage that is less than 250 square feet, that the structure does qualify as a produce stand under the building code and does not require building permit or inspections. And there'll also be an outdoor patio area by that structure. The UPIC will operate no more than 2.5 months per year during August, September, and a portion of October, depending on fruit ripening and weather. Hours of operation will be Monday through Thursday, 7:30 to noon. And these hours do not conflict with that other approved CUP on the property, which operates on the weekends and weekday afternoons. There will be 2 part-time employees who do not reside on the property, and equipment used is limited to wagons for the public's use to gather the produce. Any farm equipment used to tend the fields would be used after the public has left. As I mentioned, parking for the facility is available in the 74 stall area that was constructed for the vineyards at Mount Naomi Farm CUP. And again, the hours are staggered, so there's not going to be any conflict of uses.
Hang on a second, Angie.
Yeah.
Hey, Megan, do you mind closing those doors for us, please?
I can try, but there's balloons attached to one of them.
Is that right? Oh,
That's
no.
right.
Scissors, we
that.
can cut those balloons off.
Maybe just by making the motion, they'll get the hint.
Sorry, everybody, there's a candidate forum scheduled at 6:15.
Thank
Activity.
Thank you, Angie. Thank you, Megan.
And the applicant anticipates that there'd be up to no more than 35 vehicles per day for that UPIC facility. Access is from that improved private road, from the county road, as I mentioned. And the only potential impact that we could determine would be parking or traffic, but those again have both been addressed by the improvements for the other existing CUP on the property. So conditions are very limited, just if they decide to expand beyond what they've provided in their letter of intent, they would need to come back to the Planning Commission for approval. And then just prior to recording the permit, they did provide a map of the UPIC area. We would just need a written legal description to record as part of a CUP. But other than that, staff is recommending approval, and that concludes my report.
Thank you, Angie. Commissioners, any questions for staff?
I guess I feel like this has already been happening, like, is this?
They are
I
coming
thought it
into
already was
compliance.
I lived there, we've been there for a long time. So is this
That was a
something
big
like,
sign.
if this is approved, then it just works year to year? For these 2.5 months, year to year, or every year they have to reapply for this?
No, just, it would be continuous. Yeah, only a special event type thing would need to be renewed every year, and that would be for less than 21 days a year.
Could you clarify on this, Angie, the difference between where the agritourism would be required, where we'd be looking at a CUP on this versus a farmer selling produce out of their field?
Yeah, per the code, the type of UPIC or a produce stand does require, well, I guess the UPIC requires a CUP, a produce stand would require a zoning clearance. If they were just selling and people weren't actively participating in picking their own produce, so.
That's the difference where a CUP is required is, okay. All right, thank you.
Other questions for staff? Now, we don't have a public hearing for this, is that right? But we
It's just a
typically,
public meeting
Oh,
notice.
okay, okay.
okay. Well, we often do take public input if folks are here. But it's not a requirement. Is the proponent here? Nichols, would you like to come up and any comments you want to give tonight on the proposal?
So my name is Brenda Mickle. I own the property that we're talking about. I'm for it.
Good.
So, yeah, I know, big surprise. Yeah, that's we've been operating. I think you were asking, Melinda, on that. We've been operating for 10 years. So just wanting us to come into compliance, and we want to be responsible citizens. So here we are.
Great.
Any other questions?
Well, just that instead of having the grapes available to make drink out of, so you got enough grapes at this point to go to a UPIC rather than go into the other program yet?
So people come up and pick their own fruit currently. What they do with that,
Oh, okay.
is up to whatever mischief they want to do in their own privacy of their own homes. So, we have table wine and juice grapes, and so whatever they want to do is, after they pick them, is up to them.
But don't you also do blackberries and raspberries?
Yes, so we have blackberries, so my understanding was that you were asking
Yeah.
specifically on the grapes. But yes, so we also have, we have an orchard, if we could get the voles to leave it alone, blackberries, raspberries, yeah.
That's all part of this, the U-Pick
Uh-huh.
deal then, yeah.
So you have experience under your belt as far as volume of people and times and those.
Correct.
Those things. Could you talk just a little bit about that? You know, maybe the peak volume of people that you see.
Yeah. Okay, so last year, we decided to reduce the amount of hours to not be on the weekends. We were selling out of fruit at that point anyway, and that's when the venue is open. So last year was our first year with being open on Monday through Thursday. We've always been open from 7:30 until noon, just because it's just too dang hot afternoon to be out picking berries and they smash in your hand. Anyway, so we didn't have, like last year was no more than 15 cars max. So they usually come up in families, so lots of mothers with kiddos, people who just want a moment of zen as they go pick some fruit. So, yeah, but mostly moms and kids.
Well, it looks like you provide a little play place for the kids while the parents pick.
Oh, yeah, like, that's, having had little children, when you want to get something done, I'm like, okay, so we'll watch your kids for a minute and you go over and
That was fabulous.
not have children, hounding you.
Hoping.
Yeah, right, yeah. Yep, you've been there. So yeah, that's for moms to be able to get something done.
Any other
Okay, thank you.
questions for the Mickles? Okay, thank you very
All right.
much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Oh, just one other, I thought Ben Johnston had sent in the,
I haven't received anything, but it's a minor thing.
okay. Well, his kid's getting married at our venue, so I'll hold that over.
You can hold it against him. Either you folks here to give comment or ask questions on this particular item tonight? Okay, commissioners, what would you like to do then?
Make a motion to approve that conditional use permit with those two conditions.
I would second that.
Okay, and the two conclusions, correct? Great. So we have a motion and a second. Are there any questions, comments? Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, thank you very much. Good luck.
Oh, thank you.
Anything else tonight, Angie?
Nope, that is it. So I think Taylor did want to talk about the FAA circular. You requested that, right?
Maybe.
Anything you want to talk about, you got 5 minutes, just so you know.
I prepared a legal draft for you guys to read, but John's reviewing it right now, so
Great,
I'll get that to you.
sounds good.
We can't wait.
Agenda for next month?
Agenda for next month, I have a couple subdivisions, a rezone, and I think that's about it, so not too much. But I do have a lot of pending that are kind of incomplete, so,
When are we expecting the airport
Not
back?
gonna see airport back.
they might, yeah, they'll probably be back next month. I think Chris was out this week for spring break, so, yeah, he informed the Holyoaks that it would be on the May agenda, so that will be on there.
Great.
According to my calendar, that's Cinco de Mayo, so we can party that.
True.
We'll make sure to order tacos.
We haven't had that taco plate from.
I know.
Been a long time.
Time to
That was pretty
revive.
good, yeah. Could at least get some kind of mood there, couldn't we?
How do we get more meetings of this duration
Yeah.
and content?
Maybe we should just send Chris out of town more often. Maybe that's
Does seem to be a common factor there. When he's here, it's contentious.
It's ugly.
I will just mention, following the joint workshop focused on the general plan. We really appreciate your attendance and participation in that.
We put a lot of effort into that. That was a good
was really good.
presentation. I
Thank
really
you.
appreciate that.
Appreciate that. The responses prior to the questionnaire really helped us focus on how to prepare kind of a engaging, interactive kind of responses and such. But we shared the results of the discussion and some perspective that we gained from your feedback, and shared that with the consultant team, and they're moving ahead with drafting. So we expect to see some components coming forward and elements that get us to the finish line.
Sounds
Is there any
good.
real discussion with roads and bypass? I mean, looking at the valley, is there somebody really meeting with DOT and
Yes.
looking at those things seriously?
There is a concurrent master transportation planning process underway, and I think the pace of that effort is in deference to the general plan
Yeah.
update, so that land use, at least a component of the general plan, so that they cross-reference to each other. But there is, I think it's helpful to have those taking place at the same time, and it's helpful that we're past the point of public engagement and to the point of drafting.
If a road gets more and more traffic on it, can it go from like a county road to a UDOT road? Is that how that works? I don't even know.
I think that's what Jeff Gilbert had mentioned
That's
in
what
our,
he was saying,
in our
is
meeting.
if there's, sometimes it goes the other direction, but sometimes it's like 10th West was a city, what were they called? I'm trying to remember the
Less
the
common and
term.
harder to achieve.
Collector
Yeah,
or
it
arterial.
collected,
or-
yeah, it was a city road, and then it became so busy, and it made sense for the overall transportation that UDOT took over that and put $90 million, I think they said, into that project. So,
But they also removed state highway designations.
in various other places.
Some of the
It was
urban,
a give and
urban
take, right?
areas, yeah.
Yep. I think we recorded that meeting, so it should be available if there's any aspects, and it's really good questions asked. Nice to have various departments represented.
Yeah.
It popped up on YouTube, so it's on the YouTube.
Oh, that's
channel
right.
For
It
the,
did.
for the county, so you can get to it.
Is that what you do in your spare time, Jason?
No, it just, I follow Cache County and it popped up on my feed. I didn't watch it.
The entire county,
Boring, though.
the entire county can now know just a little bit about each of you as you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
oh yeah,
no
that's
kidding.
right.
It's all
Thanks
recorded
for
now.
recording all that. You can-
What's the status on SR 30? You know, does that come back through county at all? I mean, that's all just DOT, and it's basically.
Yeah, it did, and I think they may have made their selection.
For contractors, you say?
Yeah, I think it went out in like December, early January. I don't know if they made that selection.
Because we did that rezone out there, and the
Yeah.
owner of that property had already been negotiating for a laydown area for the contractors, I think. So I think it's underway.
I think the first year.
We could see dirt moving
I
there.
think the
on
first
that.
year, you'll see a whole bunch of fill being dumped, and then it's gonna sit for a year. Cause they have to let that sit
Preload.
for a long time before
Yeah.
they can do much.
But it's only 3 lanes when they get done, right?
3, 4, 2, it varies all the way across.
Okay, anything else? Okay, we'll stand adjourned. Some grumpy looking